What's cooking there, John?
How you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. Nice day out.
It's hot again.
Yeah. Nice this morning. Smells like it's starting to get closer to elk season
It
out
is.
there.
Yes. I'm getting excited.
It
Me
felt
too.
like it yesterday morning.
Yeah, it did for sure. Got a special guest and a longtime friend of mine, Cory Glauner. He's part of Outdoors International. He's one of the owners of that. But I wanted him on here just because he's a damn good hunter. He kills a lot of stuff, and he's a seasoned hunter. You've been at it for a long time.
I'm an old dude.
Yeah, dude. No,
you're not.
You're seasoned.
Seasoned.
That's where the whole name came about. I'm not old. I'm seasoned.
Tough and stringy.
Well, we appreciate you coming here.
Thanks
I
for
know
the
that
invite.
we've been trying to hook up for
A while.
but you've been busy building a
Hard
house.
to pin down.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you were telling me the last couple of years you were kind of like me last year. You've been so busy, you really didn't get a chance to do much hunting.
Even business, I've been so busy on things other than business that hunting and business all suffered.
Really?
Yeah. So just been swamped.
Fortunately, you got a good partner.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Good business partner and good wife. They both pretty understanding. So.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Tell us a little bit how you started Outdoors International.
So in 2005, I was an outfitter in the Middle Fork. I was actually part of the biggest land-based outfitting business in Idaho.
Oh.
I had a big area in the Frank Church on Big Creek. Mm-hmm. I had about a Big Smoky over the top in Fairfield. I was guiding there. Over towards Atlanta, a big chunk there. Mm-hmm. I was running a bird hunting preserve in Shoshone and also one in Fairfield. And I was running a South Dakota pheasant operation after all that was done. That was it. Oh, no, that's not it. I also had
there's more.
Yeah, I also had a web development company.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And see, I do remember the web development company. And
So, man, I was just and a young family, and I was just swamped. It was too much. I was enjoying life, but I was just constantly gone. You know, I'm cutting trails in the summer, and in the wilderness, it's no chainsaw. It's it's all by hand.
Really?
Yeah, lots of stories about that. But it's just hard. I was constantly busy, constantly tired. I really didn't get to hunt that much then. Didn't see my family that much. It just kind of sucked, actually.
Yeah.
So the last season, I had a big mess with a former business partner, and I decided I'm done with
the
this.
outfitting business.
Yeah, on the outfitting side, I'm done. And so I just pulled the plug on that. I gave my web design business to a good friend of mine who's still running it.
Really?
Yep, just gave it to him. He's doing great. And he still feeds me work every once in a while. I don't know why I accept it because I'm too busy, but I do sometimes. So I still do a little bit of that for him. And then I started Outdoors International with the intent. So we'd have hunters, we'd have elk hunters, and then they'd be saying, hey, I want to go tarpon fishing in Florida. Do you know anybody? And I'd know somebody, and I'd hook them up and, and book them with one of my buddies or whatever. And I got thinking, man, if I could set something up, I have the web development skills and I have these contacts and the know-how in the hunting industry. If I could just kind of put them together, my original intent was I could let outfitters book for each other. They would make the commission. They'd be able to make a commission and grow their businesses. And I could make a cut from it, and it just seems like a no-brainer. So I built this website portal, trying to hook outfitters up, and I was getting tons of leads, but the outfitters just would not. They would not
commit.
I don't know what the problem was really. They didn't want to share their list.
Oh,
this is my.
Oh, so they're basically giving each other lists.
Right. This is my client.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to give him to you. Well, he's not even your competitor. You're an elk outfitter. This is a tarpon fishing place. You know, he's going to go find somebody anyway. You might as well.
Yeah.
We might as well work together, but it just never worked. Human nature thing. But I was getting all these leads, and I'd get like 20 to 40 leads a day back in the beginning. I was the only game on the internet doing this.
Really?
That was it. So I started cherry picking, and I take the ones, like a brown bear hunt, and if a guy sent an inquiry, an email inquiry that I could tell he was really serious. And I was so busy at that point with life, and I'm still kind of dabbling in the web development stuff, that I'd pick guys that would only communicate with the email.
Okay.
And so I'd sell those. And I started becoming pretty successful. I never had to talk to anybody. I was just emailing back and forth, and I'm booking some trips, and I'm like, man, I should do this myself. And so it just kind of took off from there. Got a few sales guys. If they took it seriously, they'd kill it. And it's pretty loose. It still is. I like that my guys have, they're contractors. They're able to work for themselves. I provide a good system for them. Mm-hmm. If they're go-getters, I'll take care of them. And, we just kill it. It's been good.
That's awesome.
So it's gotten tough lately, tougher. More people doing it. The economy's getting a little weird right now.
Yeah.
I thought 2020 was going to be bad, but we did really, really, really well.
During COVID and all that.
Yeah,
huh?
we did surprisingly well. That was our...
Were the people booking the hunts like out farther, assuming COVID was going to end? Were they booking them then to get the hell out of the house?
What happened was we've always focused on the North American stuff. And
Okay.
most consultant companies focus on the international stuff because it's way easier.
Oh, okay.
It's a ton easier. Those outfitters, without bad-mouthing North American outfitters, but they're more independent. They're typically, they just want to go hunting, and they're not as good at business guys. The international outfitters are good business guys.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
easier to work with. So most consultants just choose to focus there. The hunting's usually easier and more consistent than North America.
A lot of high fence.
Not a lot, some, but
Yeah.
not mostly free range.
Is it?
We kind of tried to stay mostly free range, but there is some high fence stuff.
Yeah.
But higher success, a lot of good things about hunting internationally. So and mostly it's just easier. So when the international travel shut down, those consultants didn't have a lot of North America stuff. I'm kind of making assumptions here.
Yeah.
I think this is what happened. We did, and we just crushed it in 2020.
Nice.
Just crushed it. But now it's double-edged sword. We're out of inventory out to 2024.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so we're still getting tons of leads.
That's a
but
bad thing to happen. Huh?
Yeah.
You're out till 2024.
Right.
You
Yeah.
found your ceiling. Anyway.
Yeah, so it's tough. It's been tough. The guys, we're struggling a little bit. Just tons of leads, tons of people wanting to go hunt, but we don't have anywhere to send them. But at least
It's because outfitters aren't booking any farther out? Is that what it is?
some of them will, but we won't because
Oh.
we just don't. Divorce. We've had it all happen. An outfitter gets divorced, he falls apart.
Oh.
We have hunts booked. He's falling apart.
Gotcha.
Now we have
Somebody, I actually have a friend who booked a hunt in Alaska,
Yep.
and the outfitter died.
Yes.
And little did they know he was upside down, and he had one guy that was like kind of helping him quite a bit, and it was a bad deal. He was divorced too,
Yeah,
and so
and all that stuff we booked out years in advance. Now we have to deal with the fallout. So we just won't do that to
that's
our
smart
clients.
though. That's smart.
Even though it's tempting to just keep booking, because
Sure.
people will book. They will, and they get mad when we won't book them, and then they usually go around us and book with the outfitter directly, and then it causes lots of problems for them. But at least we're not in that.
Right.
yeah, you're
So
not
you're-
liable.
Right.
Your answer is find more outfitters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a process in itself. We have to go hunt with them.
Dang it.
Have
Yeah.
to. You know, if you need
It's
somebody
tough.
to do that for you.
I noticed
tough.
you just
I
got
know a
back
guy.
from Hawaii.
I
You're-
did.
You have no
Yeah.
slings on your arms from being twisted.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But
So
really, you want to see what their
Yeah.
operations
And that's
like
smart
all that.
because you're not selling something that you haven't experienced.
Right. Yes.
No,
and
that's
then
awesome.
we're really careful for 2 seasons and only send trusted clients. We tell them it's new, and we just kind of
Gotcha.
test the water. So really, it's like a 3-year process. And even then, things fall apart sometimes.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we do our best to just make sure we're sending people with solid outfitters.
Yeah.
And we don't charge anything. We don't charge the client anything. The outfitter pays us a marketing fee.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
And we charge exactly the same amount that he charges. He already
Gotcha.
has a built-in marketing fee. And what I say, it's kind of human nature to want to go around and talk directly to the outfitter. I would do it myself. I have in the past.
But they're not going to save any money, though, are
Well,
they?
they're not going to save any money for one, and also the outfitter is going to try to sell you his hunt.
Oh,
You know, you
True.
need to go to my hunt. This
Yeah.
is the best hunt for you. We won't necessarily do that. If that is, they'll, what are you looking for? Trophy quality, experience, or
Right.
want a horse hunt? You want a tent camp?
Yeah.
What kind of hunt you looking for? Well, that's not really what you need. You need to look at this place here and book them with the right outfitter for the trip they're looking for.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of what we do, and that's
So-
why you would use our service.
you've been doing it long enough, too. You said 2005, correct?
2005.
That, I mean, you've got it down as far as your
Yes.
criteria and all that stuff, and that's awesome.
Yeah, one thing we could do better after the trip's booked, I'd like to do better at the pre-hunt logistics. If we're solid on solid outfitters, on advice, on getting people booked, the whole system there. I'd like to really ramp up the service between the sale and the hunt. I think we fall a little short there. If I can be self-critical, But other than that, and we're pretty good at that, but I just think we could be better.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're a solid company, I think.
Good.
Now. So
Good. I know your partner, Russ, super good guy. I've talked to him on the phone. I actually have never met him.
Oh, really?
But just the nicest guy on the
Solid
phone.
guy.
And he's a killer, that guy.
He is a killer. Yeah, like nobody I know.
Yeah.
He's just so good.
And consistent
Yeah.
every year.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistent. That's him.
That's no kidding.
It's a little intimidating actually hunting with him because
it?
because he's just on a different
Right.
plane. He's just
Right.
It was.
Russ, wait
I'll tell
up for
on him
me.
a little bit
Oh.
in this Hawaii thing. We went and tried to find. So we went to Hawaii trying to find an outfitter there. We get a lot of people who go on vacation in Hawaii. Their wife or them already have it set up, but the husband wants to go hunting for a day.
Or two.
Or two or
5.
three. He wants to go hunting the whole time, but
Right.
Yeah.
his wife will give him a day.
Right.
Yeah. So we have a ton of people asking about that. Well, we have a lodge that you can go and do your whole vacation there, but you got to stay in the lodge.
Gotcha.
We've got that, and it's a great option, but you've got to stay in the lodge, and they have things for the whole family to do, but usually they have the vacation already planned. And we also have like a typical elk hunt in Hawaii. You come and you hunt axis deer for 5 days, but nobody's really doing day hunts.
Yeah.
That nobody's set up to just on a whim do a day hunt.
Oh,
And that's where the demand is. That's
Okay.
at least the
Day or
demand
two.
for
Yeah.
us,
makes sense.
It does make perfect sense.
Yeah.
So we went and we tried to find that.
Took you 30 days to figure out 31 day hunts?
Yeah.
Right.
And we never found it.
Really?
We never found something. We found places you could go, but we never found anything we could feel like we could put our name behind.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we had a blast. We hunted with really good people. The guys were awesome. I'm not criticizing them at all, but it just was they didn't have the organization that it needs, the infrastructure that it needs.
For like a 1 day thing. Everything
Yeah.
was 5 days and that
Right.
type of thing.
Yeah. And, but the hunt was awesome. We have tons of stories from Hawaii. It was crazy.
How many different critters did you hunt?
So I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'm going to. So the first
Sorry.
morning we're on the Big Island, and on the Big Island they have goats and sheep and mouflon sheep. So the haired sheep,
Yeah.
but then they also have wild mouflon sheep,
Yeah.
and then they have hybrids of the two. And
Pigs.
they do. We hardly saw any pigs.
Huh.
But yes, they have pigs. Everybody I thought we were going to stack the pigs up.
Right.
Yeah.
Russ got one in Molokai on the last day, but I never got an opportunity to get a pig. So that's what we were thinking. We were going to go to the Big Island and set up goats and sheep and mouflon and pigs. As we're driving, we meet this guy, Kelsey, super awesome guy. He's a local there, super fun. He works at a ranch and got us permission on this ranch. And he actually would be awesome. He was trying to set up a hunting operation on a different ranch with his family, but they decided they didn't want to do it. So then he's like, well, that fell through. Let's just go hunting. So we go hunting on this ranch, and he goes, there's a lot of goats here. There's some sheep. And he goes, there's even donkeys. I'm like, donkeys? He goes, yeah, they call them Kona nightingales. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. So we're right out of Kona. And he goes, back in the day, they had coffee plantations. They still have them.
Oh.
And they use the donkeys on the coffee plantations. Sure. But when tractors and equipment came around, they turned them all loose.
Really?
And they became a huge problem. So they aerial helicopter, they killed a bunch of them. But they're really smart. And they Yeah, and they live up in the timber, up in the brush. Huh. And so they're really hard to kill out of helicopters, and they're hard to hunt too. Surprisingly. So he's saying, there's a little herd of donkeys on this place. So if you see one and you want to shoot one, they're open game. And I'm like, I don't know what to think about that. Right. So it's dark. We get out of the pickup. I mean, it's just getting light, just cracking light. We're walking down this little road, and I'm still even putting on my release. It's that early. And on the first morning, and Russ goes, Cory, so how are you going to hold out for a Billy, or are you going to shoot any goat? You're just going to stack them up? He's trying to get a read for what I'm going to, where I am. And I go, shit, man, I'd shoot a donkey. And I was kind of just joking. But literally, like 30 seconds later, Kelsey goes, there's a donkey.
Oh, jeez.
And I had just said it. And he goes, go get him. And so that was all the go get him I needed. Right. So I'm sneaking down around. And it almost immediately busts me because the wind was wrong. And I didn't know it busted me, but I get over where it was.
Like how far was it when you first saw it?
Probably 300 yards.
Wow, they're that cagey, huh?
Yeah. And he had us nailed, and the wind was right to him. And I was thinking, it's a donkey. I'm going to just pretty much just walk up to this thing.
I met my neighbors last week.
So I sneak up around, and he's gone, and I hear somebody going, bah, behind me. And it's those guys behind me trying to sound like sheep. And Russ is drawn back. And they're trying to get it to stop.
That's hilarious.
And as he draws, it busts, and it comes up around this ridge.
Another same donkey?
Same one, yeah. So I had spooked it. It went back there. It ran into them. They busted it. It went up on this ridge, and it's right behind the sun. The sun was coming up over the ridge, and he was just like silhouetted, quartering to me pretty hard. And I just judged him at 55 and drew back and just drilled him, just center punched him. With sever broadheads, by the way. I was trying those out. Shoulder, quartering to me hard, punched right through.
Huh.
He went about 20 yards.
That's pretty hardy animal.
Yeah, that is. That's a thick animal. So, anyway, we get up to him, and Kelsey is so excited.
Is he?
So excited. He goes, I've never seen anybody get one with a bow. Ever. Oh. So from then on, the rest of the trip, I was introduced as the guy who killed a Kona nightingale with his bow. And all the Hawaiians, they dug it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it like for the locals kind of a sought after?
Yeah, they
because they're so hard to get.
They know they're hard to get. Yeah.
Wow.
They were all excited about it.
I was going to ask you if you ever heard them, how donkeys make noise. Did you ever hear any of that?
That's why they call them the Kona nightingale. I didn't tell that part.
Okay.
So in Hawaii, there's no night sounds naturally.
Oh.
Recently, there's a little frog that's I never saw one, but he told me about it. It's about that big, and they make a ton of noise.
Okay.
But the Hawaiians hate them because their nights used to be silent.
That's
and
interesting.
the only sound was the donkeys.
Oh.
So they call them the Kona nightingales.
Oh, okay.
That's a cool story.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was fun.
So, do they eat them?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
did you get a chance to eat it?
No, we didn't. Yeah. We quartered it. He took it home. He does something with the back straps that he says is awesome with donkeys, and then he just made burger out of the rest. And then
I'm assuming no one's gonna mount.
I'm gonna do a rug.
Or the rug. Okay.
I'm doing a rug. He actually was really pretty. I'm gonna do a rug in my office. I'm gonna own this.
That's hilarious. Yeah, right. Own it for sure.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, if
Proud
it's,
of that donkey.
here's the thing. It got utilized, the meat.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was very challenging.
Yep.
So you should be proud of yourself to.
Yeah, if I'm not going to share it on social media, I think that'd probably be a mistake. I probably shouldn't talk about it on podcasts.
I would say this is going to be shared on social media, but
You just made a mistake.
Yeah, I just want to put the picture out,
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so,
Hey, think about it though. and granted, it's donkey as opposed to wild cattle. But people hunt wild cattle all over.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've been down to like New Mexico. I know when I was guiding down there was wild cattle down there that I know hadn't been herded forever.
Yeah.
And boy, they were wild as they get.
We tried to kill some in Hawaii.
Really? They have some there too.
We didn't get any. Yeah, they do.
Huh.
So we didn't kill any.
I know one cool thing about Hawaii is there's no predators.
Right. Other than mongoose.
But yeah, a mongoose.
We saw those everywhere.
Did you?
Yeah, but that was it.
But so they flourish is the point. That's the reason why.
Right. Yeah, they'd be overrunning donkeys and goats and sheep if they
weren't managed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cattle.
And I know that there is a lot of locals that rely on the meat from the axis and the pigs and goats and stuff. That's cool that did you get a chance to eat any of the game?
We
or did you bring some back?
Yeah. Russ killed a hair sheep on the third day, a decent ram. They're they're cagey. Yeah. Cagier than I thought. The joke the joke on the Big Island was after the donkey, we were going after the barnyard slam. So
and you already had first leg.
And I already had the first leg's the donkey. That's the hardest. That's the hardest one to get.
Right.
So so we're after the barnyard.
I love it.
So anyway, he killed one of the hair sheep, and we made Kelsey's dad is Filipino, I think full Filipino, and he took the backstrap and cut it into little tiny thin strips, soaked it in vinegar and some seasoning, and we just had it raw.
Really?
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we ate that.
Was it I wouldn't mind trying it on something, but was it real vinegary tasting?
No. So they have this Hawaiian pepper water they have. It's little tiny Hawaiian peppers. Have you ever seen those plants? I guess they're Hawaiian peppers, but they used to have them as house plants, and they're tiny little peppers. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I do remember. But they weren't used for the peppers as much as they were like a house plant.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a Hawaiian pepper because they look just like that.
Okay.
So they take those and they put them in water, and they soak it, and they use that as like a dressing. Water and a little bit of vinegar. So they put that on it, the vinegar, salt and pepper, and a little bit of garlic, and they let it soak for like 40 minutes. And so it wasn't super vinegary. And it wasn't super saucy. It was mostly just enough of the sauce to get the meat soaked.
Gotcha.
There wasn't any leftover liquid in the bottom.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it soaked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And so it was a pretty mild flavor. You could taste the vinegar, but it was mostly you tasted the meat, and it was good.
Was it?
It was really good. I'm
cool.
going to do it again. You said you can do it with venison and
that's what I was actually thinking.
Yeah.
Have you been to Hawaii before?
Yes, I went to Oahu last year with my wife and Russ and Carol, but just a vacation.
And I noticed, weren't you with your family this time too?
Yeah, the girls came for the first week.
Okay.
And then they left, and then Russ and I stayed and hunted for 3 weeks.
Rough.
Life is
right.
good.
Yeah. Did you get to taste a lot of cool food, different foods over there?
Lau lau they have it's pork, shredded pork, and they wrap it in tea leaves and then like steam it. I loved that. That was really good. And then they have a lot of platters, so they like teriyaki there. So teriyaki pork, teriyaki chicken in a platter they eat a lot of rice. After the Big Island, we went to Molokai and we stayed with the family there. And this guy was cool. Mikey, he would just forage. We'd be hunting and he just foraged everywhere. There's the best guava tree on the islands right over here. So let's walk down there, and the deer, they're ripe. So the deer are all over it. So we'd still hunt up to the guava tree. Sure enough, there'd be axis deer on it.
Man, I bet those are good eating guava.
Oh yeah, so good. So then we'd pick guava, and then he'd go, there's an orange tree over here, and we'd still hunt up to the orange tree, and then he'd harvest oranges, and he has little watercress gardens and all the fresh water around, and it was just cool seeing that.
Because they're living off the land so much.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, he kills like 10 deer a week, and he gives them to the, to people, locals, and That's what they eat. And
That's probably not even a remote dent.
no,
I mean,
it's
I've
the
heard
deer
Molokai
are a
here's-
problem.
Yeah,
they're
that's
a
what I
problem. This sounds like an exaggeration, but it isn't. There was this one area down on it's on sea level, and it had rained the night before. Not hard, just enough to kind of smooth over the tracks, you know. And it's dirt. There's no grass. There's nothing, and everything's eaten up as high as the axis deer can eat. And I don't know what they eat. I don't know how they're alive. But we're walking through there, and in the morning, no tracks. And we hunted until like 10 o'clock or so. And we walk out, every square inch, no joke,
Littered.
every inch literally had a fresh track on it.
Wow.
Just thick. And we maybe saw 100, but it's just thick mangrove forest down there, and they were just everywhere. And they're so hard to hunt.
Yeah, they're pretty cagey.
Man,
they
they're
make
cagey.
that barking noise. and-
Yeah. Yeah. They're
Did you
vocal
get an
like-
axis?
Yes. I shot quite a few of them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And Russ,
Yeah.
too.
Yep, Russ struggled. This is the one time I've ever kind of done better on a hunt than him. But he was just struggling, and this is his 4th trip to Molokai, and this was the first axis buck that he'd kill other than a little spike.
Huh.
And Russ is the man.
Yeah.
Right.
So that just tells you how hard it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. And I had luck on my side. He had every bad luck situation you could have. Just didn't line up for him that well on this trip.
Yeah.
He put 2 contacts in each eye one morning. He's like, all day long, he's like, I can't see. I don't know what's going on.
Did he
I
forget
can't
about
see."
the one?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Just things like that he kept doing.
Poor guy.
And then
As you laugh.
I was feeling bad for him because, man, I was just having all the luck, and he was
He
not.
can't see.
Right. And then he was having an issue. He still is. This is bad. When he turns his head, he puts his string right on the end of his nose, and he turns his head, and everything blurs out. And so quite a few times he'd get to full draw and then just couldn't see and have to let down. And he was having a hard time.
So getting back to the barnyard slam.
Barnyard slam,
Yeah.
yes.
How many animals is part of that?
So, well, it's our own term, but it's the feral goats.
Okay.
I think we both shot 4 goats. They're also harder to hunt than you would expect.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them. I mean, they're not hard, but harder than you would expect.
Yeah.
Russ shot a stud of one.
Did he?
I shot a pretty good one.
I saw a picture of yours. It was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good. So the goats, the sheep, the hair sheep, the mouflon aren't part of the barnyard slam. They're wild.
Okay.
By our terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who made that decision?
You're right. The donkey. So the goat, sheep, donkey, wild cattle, pig. So, and I guess you could put hybrid sheep in that too.
Yeah, 'cause
I think
yeah.
that'd qualify.
Did you guys end up with everything but the cattle?
We didn't get one of the pure hair sheep.
Oh,
We shot a hybrid. No. We didn't get a hybrid. We got a hair sheep.
okay.
Russ did. And we didn't get cattle, and we did get a pig on the last day. Russ did.
Oh, cool.
So you guys did good.
Yeah, we didn't get a wild.
Did you
cow.
see any cattle?
Yes. So this is cool too. On the Big Island, we hiked up this mountain. I don't even know what, some long Hawaiian
Yeah.
name. And so we hiked in, backpacked in like 9,500 feet. and
That's one thing
camped in.
I was going to ask you. Did you spike out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we spiked out from mouflon sheep.
Okay.
So we spiked out and we spent 2 days hunting mouflon. We saw ewes and 1 ram. There, it was tough. That was really tough. Just the terrain wasn't. It was real sheep hunting. Sheep are hard to find anyway.
Sure.
But then just lava ridges, and it was really loud, super loud and crunchy because just chunks
Sure.
of lava that every step.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be quiet. And then these little ridges like this. So you see something a couple hundred yards out, you're going to have to skyline yourself
Yeah.
Oh.
like 20 times getting to it. And,
Yeah.
and it was hard.
Yeah.
It was tough bow hunting.
Not much vegetation. at
Hardly
that,
any.
That
Hardly,
altitude.
a little bit of brush. Out of Chalice, there's that country that's really rocky with
Yeah.
a little sparse sagebrush and these little ridges.
Yeah.
It was a lot like that.
Okay.
So,
Huh.
but we didn't get a mouflon. But when we were coming out, we saw wild cattle. Technically, anything that's not on private ground and is on national forest is considered wild cattle. So,
Oh, that sucks for
No
cattle. I'm
difference.
sure some of them.
right, I'm sure that's what I asked him. I go, what if it's branded and whatever? He goes, if it's, they need to keep their fences up.
So
But
was
these
a lot
were,
of
these were wild.
Yeah. You probably could tell
You could
that.
tell. Yeah.
Is there a lot of public property then?
Yeah, it's strange. It seems that a lot of it is shut down to anybody. You can't,
Really?
even though it's public, you can't even hike it, a lot of it. Weird.
And that's why.
I think it's because they have such an environmental catastrophe. You can tell just looking at it. It's a catastrophe. They have invasive plants, invasive animals. Most of their birds are gone. Most of the
Really?
birds they have are introduced. You know, not all invasive. Some of them are naturalized, but most of them invasive and displaced are real species, or a native species. And so they just have this catastrophe. So they're like a unique situation. So they're trying to, I guess, seems like they use that as an excuse to cut off access to places.
Gotcha.
So that was tough. I don't know their regulations seem really complicated.
They-
So if you went and just tried to hunt public, I think you'd be on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody's hunting the spots that can be hunted.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though there's probably a ton of game. We never hunted that stuff. We heard that there's a lot of game, but
Pressure.
it's
Just
just
pressure
pressure.
too.
Yeah.
Did you run into much?
No,
People?
none. We were hunting private ground, and then we got access through a ranch onto public that you could hunt. And so there was
Still
no
nothing on
pressure
there.
up there. None. Up where the mouflon were.
Oh, gotcha.
So certain sections you can jump through hoops to get into, but you got to know which hoops to jump through.
Sure.
So, yeah, and there's some Air Force bases. I'm assuming Air Force bases, but there's some military bases that are no hunting, but they randomly just, when they don't have anything going on, they'll put out a statement. And if you know where to see that statement, the first 30 people or whatever that call in can get access on this day. And I guess the hunting on those is super good, but you've got to be willing to just hunt it.
Drop.
Right, yeah, just at a moment's notice,
Right.
go hunting. So that's good for the locals, not so good for us.
Sure. Yeah. You can't
So,
plan your vacation around
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not all the time.
No, it's pretty. We drove by them, and there's sheep, and there's goats, and pigs everywhere in those places as you're just driving by the road. Dead ones all over the road.
Really?
And get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just tons of game on them, but it's closed most of the time.
Did you get out and do any fishing or anything?
No, not really. We'd get up at 2:30 and go hunting. We'd hunt all day, come take a shower, go hunt in the evening, get home at about 10,
Eat.
eat, and go to bed.
Yeah,
That's
I bet.
about all we did.
Yeah.
We went to the beach one day. This is after the girls left.
Yeah.
When the girls were there, we kind of did the vacation thing.
Sure.
But after the girls left, we were in hunt mode
Right.
until the last evening. The last evening, we sat up on the deck and cooked up backstrap and deer backstrap and enjoyed ourselves that night. But
Nice.
other than that, we were hunting. We were very focused.
As a whole, awesome experience then.
Absolutely.
Gonna go back?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was very cool. Well, we kind of have to. We got to get something figured out.
That's
Yeah.
what I was just going to ask. I
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
want to pursue finding someone
Right.
for trips and stuff.
For
Yeah.
day trips. That's solid.
What do you think you have left to explore as far as, like, how many outfitters are over there?
Not very many.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, if because like Idaho, you have a certain area and all
Right.
that. It's probably free for all there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we work with some good outfitters there. I'm not disparaging the outfitters that we
Yeah.
work with but they just offer something different than what most of our
What you're looking for.
Did you talk to them about, apparently they're not open to changing that at all.
No, we found a really cool place on the east end of Molokai. Big ranch. They own the entire east end of the island. And it's in a lot of Molokai, the west side isn't very pretty. Has the feel of a, I don't know, third world country.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just the deer have just beat it down to red dirt, and no vegetation, and it's just dusty and dirty and kind of nasty. But the east is mountainous and pretty and lush, and tons of deer on the west too, surprisingly. I don't know what they eat, but lots of deer over on the east side too. And these guys have a nice lodge. They have like housing, like not lodges, like cabins and stuff. They're not really bungalows, I guess you'd call them.
Private bungalows.
Private bungalows that you can stay in. They have a program, a vacation programs, take care of your whole family, and they have a private chef, and they have all the cool things. But you have to partake in that with a group to be able to hunt.
Oh, gotcha.
So, which is great.
Yeah.
But what if somebody's going on already has their vacation planned,
Right.
So we could book you on that, and it's awesome, and it's amazing, and it's affordable, and it's really cool. Has our thumbs up, but that's not what most people are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, most people are just
They want to do
for
the
that day or
vacation
two.
thing, right? Throw a hunt in on the side.
I like your vacation, though. 1 week vacation and 3 weeks hunting.
Yeah, that's not so shabby.
Yeah.
I wish we would have flip-flopped it, though, because we're worn out at the end. So I wish the girls would have come at the end for a week and then just relax and do the vacation thing for a week.
Sleep
then.
all day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because right now I'm still catching up from hunting for 3 weeks.
Right. And we'll be hammering them here pretty quick.
Yes, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys do more like international hunts than North American or whatever?
No, we do mostly elk, mule deer,
Okay.
and Alaska are our bread and butter.
Gotcha.
That's where, well, and caribou. Well, I guess that's Alaska. But moose, caribou, elk, and mule deer.
Do some Canadian, like Quebec, Labrador, those types of
Yeah,
things.
yep. Yeah, we do quite a bit of that. We also have solid international options, and we book a fair amount of them. But the demand really in our crowd, so I don't know. There's the show crowd, the upper crust SCI guys. They usually go book through the consultants that go to the SCI show.
Yeah.
As they probably should.
Yeah.
I guess. We're more the working class guys. The working class guys come, and they're mostly interested in North America.
Gotcha.
And
So, do you go to shows at all?
no.
I was going to ask you that earlier, but
No.
it almost sounds like you got off to such a good start that because word of mouth,
It's
if you got a good reputation, everything is like,
we have tons of repeat.
Right.
And so we try to do a good job of just taking care of people.
Yeah.
And we try to improve that every year, improve something about our business. We still have room to grow, and get better, like I said, but we do pretty good. So
that's awesome.
Super
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And
just
this
out
year,
of inventory.
it's what?
Right.
Just out of inventory.
Right.
This year, you got what going on for yourself?
For myself, elk, of course. I've been hunting more desert country. I think I'm going to go back to the mountains there. We went up and hiked with some friends and my wife. We went up and hiked into a lake to the day after I get back from hunting for 3 weeks. I should be getting back to work, but no, we go hike into a lake. But anyway, and it just was like, man, I don't want to hunt the desert this year. I want.
Is that when you made your mind up?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like I need to get back up here.
Right.
So I'm gonna go back to my old stomping grounds there and see how that is. I've actually heard bad things about where I used to hunt, that it's just overrun, but I guess I'll find out this year. I think everywhere's
One thing I've
overrun.
never been intimidated by, and that is pressure. Because just because somebody's in there, it's such a low percentage of people that actually harvest the target archery.
Yep.
I never pay attention to the odds or any of that.
Right. Yeah, I've never really done that either.
Yeah. I just figured, so.
Yeah, right. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I never really do either. But you hear the stories and you
Sure.
just kind of naturally want to stay away from the areas you hear getting hammered.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But I've been in area and there's been other people around, and I've watched people go in an area that I've hunted a lot and watched how they're hunting it and went, they're not going to kill nothing.
them.
Yeah, but I can tell they're not going to kill nothing just by what they're doing, and not that I'm a better hunter.
Right.
But it's cracked me up how I remember running a guy. In fact, one time he's like, "Oh, I've been hunting this for I forget how many years," he said, which I had never seen him in there before. And you kind of see the same people, right?
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, I watched how he's hunting, and I'm thinking, all right, so I know how you're going to hunt it.
Right.
So I actually kind of
Used him.
Yeah. Used him. That's the word.
Yeah.
To benefit me because he was going to blow him out anyway.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't trying to poach his stuff.
Right.
But I knew that he wasn't going to get him.
Let him do the push.
You're not going to outwalk an elk.
Right.
We could run and still not
I remember
outwalk
those
it.
days. I was telling my buddy Todd the other day, I go, yeah, back in the days when I used to try to catch up with elk, I came up and looked down on this lake from over there for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I
Right.
did. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I used to try to outrun them, but that doesn't work.
Hunting smarter. As you
Yeah.
get older, you do think about hunting a little
Right.
bit
Yes,
smarter than.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and I think we were talking about percentages, odds, success rate or whatever. But if you get the success rate of the people that put out 100% effort,
Sure.
and if you're willing to do that,
That's
that
true.
success rate is a lot larger than as a whole.
Yeah,
I
the
would
group
say
as a
it's
whole.
80 plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. And I had this conversation with guys about baiting bears and guys not killing the bears off their baits or whatever. And it's like, well, in my head, it's like the success comes from the effort you put in before you ever
Before
even
you're
go
sitting
hunting.
in that stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the guys that are willing to do that,
Yep.
they're 80%. So that's a solid number, honestly.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
is. Yeah. Totally.
That's
agree.
another thing with Russ, baiting bears. I've learned a ton. I used to just kind of be the normal bear baiter and have little sows and cubs and stuff. But
Right.
he's taught me how to bait bears.
Good.
Huh.
There's a wrong and a right way.
He's a stud. in
For
that
sure.
hole.
Yeah.
That guy kills some.
Usually
tanks.
Clobber's a good one every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his kids now are. How many
Yeah.
kids does he have?
2 boys.
Oh, man.
He always humbles me on, and I don't know Russ other than social media, but on bears and antelope.
Yep.
Because, I'm always so proud of myself. The bear I shoot that year, the antelope I kill, and then I look at his pictures. I'm
I know.
like, oh.
I know.
Swipe. No. No.
Block on
I'm
block,
happy. And you cannot take anything away from people that are like that,
Yeah.
that put in the effort, or whatever it is,
Right. Are you willing
And-
to spend 4 days in your antelope blind without ever getting out?
Right. Yeah.
He
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I am.
No. Yeah.
4 days.
I've spent my share.
He
in
spends
there,
his
so-
nights and he's just in it.
Yeah.
He's in it.
for the long haul.
Yeah.
In a pop up.
Yeah.
I've never met him, so I don't know if he's a big guy or not.
a
but
big guy.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Because shit, I have a hard time myself.
I
I'm
know.
not very big.
I know. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I've done 2 days, spent 2 nights in it and gone hard. And man, I don't think I could do 4.
Yeah.
I just don't think I could.
Yeah.
I'm good with
They're hot.
half days. And
Are you gonna?
go drink beer after.
3/4 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hunt antelopes this year?
No, not this year.
No.
No. I'm doing elk. I'm doing, the unlimited mule deer.
Okay.
Doing
Okay.
that.
Same place we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably it for Idaho, really.
You got some other stuff
And then-
in the makings.
No, not really planned, but I'm sure something will
Pop up.
between now and then. I am next August, hopefully, going to Greenland for muskox.
Oh, cool.
So that should be awesome. I'm excited about
Cool.
that.
Russ has already killed a muskox. didn't
Yeah,
he?
he did in Canada.
Is that research?
It is actually, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Poor Cory.
It is
Right.
tough. Greenland muskox has been one of our biggest disasters. So
Really?
it was cheap. We booked a ton of it without doing the proper vetting. It seemed right
This is in the past,
in
right?
the past.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed right. We had a few consultants that were kind of haphazard. They've been thinned out. We booked a ton of Greenland muskox, a ton. And then the outfitter just stopped picking guys up at the airport.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a disaster, an absolute mess. And we did our best to kind of, there's only so much we can do.
I would say your service can only go so far.
Yes.
To the. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it falls on us a lot of times, the
Exactly,
blame.
yeah.
It does, but we make 15% at most. and the outfitter gets the rest, even though they send the whole deposit to us, because outfitters aren't super good usually at paying us our commissions.
Oh.
So we collect the deposit, and then we send the rest to the outfitter. But from the client's perspective, they sent us the deposit.
So they look at you as
Right. And I understand.
Yeah.
They did. So
That's too bad.
yeah, we had to pay back a lot of money in our commission, and then fight not to be stuck paying back the rest of the deposits, and help them with try to get what they needed to out of the outfitter, try to get them booked at discounts with other things, with other outfitters that we had good relationships with. And it was like a 3-year deal that was just a nightmare. So anyway, Greenland is less expensive than Canada for
Is it?
for muskox. Pretty successful, tons of muskox. You've got to go with a good guy that isn't going there for the meat, because they do a lot of meat hunting there. So you're basically paying to go shoot their meat.
Oh,
That's what most of the hunts there, and we don't want that. So we're going to try to find,
trophy.
yeah, good trophy hunting.
Have you ate it?
No.
Did Russ?
I think so.
I was just wondering how.
Yeah, he
just
sent
the
his
name
meat.
Musk
I
Hawks.
don't know. I've never talked to him about how it was, but I know that he said that he shipped his meat home
Oh,
with his luggage. So I know he has. I just haven't asked about it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious.
I've never thought about that. Probably tastes terrible.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's just the sound, and I know they stink. Obviously,
Yeah,
they got a musk to
right.
them. It's
Yeah.
like musk rat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how they taste. I'm not sure.
Do you do Mexico too?
Yes. Yep. We have mule deer coos. We just brought on a really good spot for coos. Solid outfitter.
If you need anyone to go down and check it out, just let me know.
Yeah.
Dude, those things,
That is super
they're
cool.
I mean, I've killed a few in my bow, and I killed, my best one was with, I drew a rifle tag in Arizona.
Right.
But I just feel, honestly, in public land, killing one with my bow, I feel like excited just to get one. Because
Right.
that's, for me, maybe it was like, it's one of those things where you just have challenge with it.
Right.
But
I
or
think
maybe
it's
I'm
true,
doing
though.
wrong, but
I've never killed one, but I've gone on lots of hunts, not hunting. I went to school in Arizona,
Okay.
and so I went with friends and
Gotcha.
stuff. Yeah, and they're tough. They're
Yeah,
tough.
I thought-
I'd say coos deer and axis deer.
Well,
If just
I've heard that
killing
too.
a buck,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
just killing a buck, you've done something with
Yeah.
a bow.
Right.
I could have killed big bucks with my rifle.
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah, how many times have we said that?
Yeah.
God, if I had a gun right now.
I don't say it anymore. That
Yeah.
really doesn't cross my. But a lot of people ask me, "Why'd you shoot that?" Because I just shot little ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm happy.
I do remember the first coos deer I killed was just like that. One of
Right,
those
right.
things, right? I was proud as I get
Yeah.
at that thing. And some of my friends were there and they were laughing.
Right.
Yeah, they were laughing. And it
But
was-
had they gotten any?
That's exactly right. I mean, it was they're small bodied anyway,
Yeah.
but this was a young buck, so he
Right.
was small.
Yeah.
Smallish. Okay, we'll go with ish. But then in Arizona, a friend of mine from Arizona pulled up and saw, and he's like, "Punch!" And he grabs me and lifts me up. That's so awesome. I mean, he was
'Cause
just
he knew.
going off, huh?
He knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still laughing and making fun, and he's like, "Do you realize what he did?"
Right.
This guy at that point hadn't killed him with a bow, and he's, for whatever reason, he hasn't.
Yeah.
He probably could have, but he's like, these are tough.
Yeah.
They're really tough. And,
Yeah.
and
First of all, they're invisible.
the Gray Ghost is like the
Right.
best name.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. They're invisible. So if you spot one,
Yeah.
you just did something there.
I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast here, but I just one time found a really good buck, which anyone would have been good. But anyway, this was a good buck. And I told my friend Curtis, my pack was from here to 10 feet away.
Right.
And I told Curtis, you look to this spot. It was like one of these, you ready? He's right in the middle. Okay. And he got in there and he's like, okay, I see him. I'm like, I'm going to go get my pack. So I didn't want to lose sight of him.
Right.
I got my pack and all of a sudden he looks down for something and looks back up. It's gone. Never saw it again.
Really?
Just like that.
Yeah.
And you got this whole hillside and you're like, where in the heck did it go?
Yeah, they are. They're crazy invisible.
even the one I shot with that I did shoot my rifle, I'd spotted it and got closer. And when I popped up to where, there was like a couple little cuts, like the cut before I actually shot it from, when I popped up, could not see him. And he was like, I thought right out in the open. And all he did was take a couple steps behind some ocotillo and completely disappeared. And then just before I kept going, he barely walked out. And you've seen that ocotillo before.
Yeah.
It's so open. It's just like a bunch of
you should be
branches.
able to see.
Yeah. But they blend in so good.
They really do. Coos deer, axis deer again, and zebras.
Really?
Invisible animals. They don't exist.
The zebras too.
Zebras
huh?
too.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, they get in the shade.
Oh.
And they're not in the when I've hunted zebras, they're not in the plains.
Okay.
They're in the mountains. They're kind of like hunting elk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and man, that was the only thing. You'd be driving around looking for stuff, not hunting out of the rig, but you'd be driving different places, and the guys would spot the trackers and stuff. They'd be spotting game, and I felt like I could spot game as well as they could, other than zebras.
Really?
And I just it'd take them forever to. I felt like an idiot. He's right there under that.
Can't you see it?
Can't you see that? No, I can't. So yeah, zebras blend in.
Being from Idaho, is elk still probably your favorite? Or?
Yeah, I love elk. I got a little burned out on it when I was guiding because it kind of turned into just work. You're up at 3, you're taking your hunter and waking him up with a thing of coffee, and you're saddling the horses, and it just elk hunting's not easy, even when you're doing it for fun. But when you're guiding a whole season of people for years and years and years in the wilderness, I don't know. It sucked the fun out of it for me.
Gotcha.
It really did.
Yeah.
And so I was a little burned out on it it's funny. I didn't get excited about it until I was actually elk hunting, which made me a terrible elk hunter because I'd never prepared.
Oh.
So I went through, 7 or 8 years of just not really caring about it very much, I guess. Now I've got it back, so I've been
Your passion.
Yeah, which feels good.
Yeah.
I did lose it for a while.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, and it is, as a guide, it is work.
It totally is.
I mean, I enjoyed it though. I always said, and I didn't guide maybe as long as you did. I don't know for sure how many years I did, but I always said when it becomes a job and I don't want to get up, I'll get up. Fortunately, I didn't leave on those terms. I left. It was still good.
That's great.
I just opted to do other things.
Something else,
I made pretty good money, but there's still so much more money to be made out
Absolutely.
there. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna do, and I'll do.
Then you
a few
can hunt
months.
for fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And guiding is fun.
It is.
For 5 years, probably, I loved it.
Yeah,
And then it just wore me out.
Yeah.
It just was. And I was up in the Frank, and
that's even to me another level
it is.
because everything's remote.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I never was able to come home. So I'm up there all season long, pack the mules out November 18th, and head to South Dakota. So there were just no breaks. It was constant. So it just wore me out.
Huh?
But I got it back.
Good.
Got the bug again.
Yeah. So that feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I felt like for a lot of years, like a fraud almost. It was a weird feeling. Like, not a fraud, that's the wrong word, but I don't know. I mourned the fact that I didn't want to hunt elk. That really bothered me.
Huh.
But I identified as an elk hunter,
And
but I had
guide.
no desire to
Gotcha.
hunt elk.
Yeah.
So it was like this lost feeling for 5 or 6 years. And then when I did go, I wasn't confident. I'd lost all confidence. So it took me a while to get that back too. Because when you're not confident,
Yeah.
you're not going to kill anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a struggle.
Huh. Now that you got kids that are starting to hunt, that probably
Yes.
inspires somewhat too, huh?
Absolutely. My daughter actually loves to hunt.
Really?
Yeah, I can see her hunting on her own when she grows up. My oldest son, he loves to hunt too, but he likes to hunt with me, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he'll hunt on his own. down the road. And my youngest son, he doesn't have any desire to hunt, which is strange, but whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I always said, if my kids want to hunt, I'd love it.
Yeah.
But if they don't, if
not
they're
gonna shove it
passionate
down
about something else, except for games
Right. Yeah.
and the computer and all that,
Yeah.
I mean, but kids nowadays, that's what a
I
lot of
know,
it
it's
is.
crazy, huh?
But I just want them to be kind of passionate about something.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, my daughter is one of my favorite. We talked a little bit about your favorite hunting story.
Yeah.
So I've always really been able to be really calm in the moment. Just everything slows down. I can make pretty good decisions usually, and
You're talking about for yourself.
capitalize for myself. Yeah. And took her elk hunting, and we used to. Our family homesteaded a ranch in Unit 44 at Willow Creek back in the day, and my dad grew up there, and then it got sold, and then another guy bought it, and my dad got to know him, and then we were caretakers on our old family ranch for a lot of years. Really good elk hunting. So my daughter had a cow tag there. It was her first elk, and we practiced shooting, and she's a good shot, and she's like 12 years old, and sneak up on this herd. Pretty easy. They're all just bedded down. We get into like 200 yards. She could make that shot easy. And she lays down next to me. I set my backpack up. It's for her to rest on. And she lays down right next to me. We're like right next to each other. And her heart is just pounding.
You could feel it?
I can feel her heart just pounding. And
Awesome.
I go, sis, you're going to miss if you don't calm down. You need to take a breath and calm down. And she did exactly what I did, which was cool. I recognized somebody else. She goes, and instantly her heart goes boom, 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 boom. Just instantly had control of herself.
Nice.
It was awesome, and just smoked it.
Nice.
So that was cool. Just being right there and being able to feel her heart.
Yeah.
Her get control of herself. Physically felt it. That was cool.
When I mentioned earlier, before we started, I was like, probably want to hear a story of one of your most memorable favorite hunts. Just knowing Cory, I knew it was going to be about one of your kids because there's nothing cooler than than that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That was, and I've had some cool hunts with my son too. I took him to Africa.
Oh wow.
He always wanted to go to Africa, and I made a deal with all of my kids that when they turned 12, they could choose the spot, and then they'd have to work and buy the plane ticket and stuff. But I bought his animal for him in Africa, and I did the Reuben board and paid for all that stuff. He just had to get there so that they had some skin in the game.
Good.
He went to Africa. That's what he chose, and no real story in general, but it was just amazing to experience Africa with your kid.
Yeah.
It's amazing enough as it is. It's probably my favorite place to hunt.
Is it?
Oh, cool.
It's like Disneyland for hunters. It's so
Did he
fun.
get a good animal?
Yeah, he shot a good impala. He shot a zebra.
Oh.
He stacked up the baboons.
Did he?
He loved
Like
baboon
cordwood?
hunting. Yeah,
That's funny.
he loved baboon hunting.
Are those a nuisance?
Yes, they hate them. They're like coyotes.
Really?
They like you to shoot the
Do,
baboons.
is there most time no charge? You just shoot all the
A
baboons?
lot of times. There's always a trophy fee. It kind of probably depends on whether the PH likes you or not.
Oh,
Whether you
gotcha.
get charged for your baboon.
Gotcha.
It probably depends on the PH too. But who we went with, he actually was murdered by his wife.
Oh, geez.
He was
Whoa.
a good friend of mine. That's a whole nother story.
Wow.
But, actually, both of them were good friends. But anyway, we were really good friends. He didn't charge us for the baboons.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That was a crazy story.
Is your house a museum now, the one you just built?
Is it a museum?
Yeah, with
no,
all the
not
critters.
as bad as everybody expects.
Yeah.
However, I probably am going to have to build a shop.
Darn it.
Yeah, right now I have things all scattered out everywhere. Friends have stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I went and shot a nice bull. I just scored him. Got him with my bow. He's all broken up, but if he mashed, he'd be like 362. But he's all bleached out because he was on a friend's garage. So I think I'm going to mount him, clean him up, and get a cape and mount him. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have things scattered everywhere. Right? I'll drive by a friend's place. That's my bull. I need to get that. So,
That's funny.
yeah, I have bear hides all over. So yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of a museum. Some people probably would consider it a museum.
Right.
Yeah. But it could be worse.
Yeah. It'd be fun to have it all in one spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of got stuff because I've added on a trophy room to my place, and the guy, fortunately, that bought my place, my old house where my room was there, he let me keep. I'm like, would you mind if I kept these in here? I mean, there's a lot of money tied up, in that stuff, and I didn't want to put it in storage.
Right.
I got some stuff in storage, but I didn't want to put it in storage if I could help it, and. Yeah, plus it just takes up a lot of room.
Yeah.
And so he's been good with it. That's really pushing to get it done here in the next couple months.
Right.
Well,
no, you're not.
Coming up. I have a goal before Thanksgiving. Okay?
That's probably reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, if I get the outside, you don't think so, John?
My money's against it.
Hope Vera don't hear that. 'Cause I really want to get it done before then. Just because I want my animals there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice to.
Yeah.
It's been nice kind of gathering them up. They're just in piles everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
They're mostly just skull mounts. I don't have a ton of mounts, but mostly just skull mounts and stuff. Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are piles everywhere, but it is nice just getting them gathered and in one spot at least.
Right.
Not that they're up yet, but
Right.
Cool.
so.
Yeah. Right on. Well, appreciate you coming, man. I really
Thanks for
enjoyed
having
it.
me.
Some great stories.
Great podcast right
Well,
here. I had a blast.
And like I told you, we just love doing it, just kind of BS but you have a lot of knowledge, and and your Outdoors International certainly is. And I wanted you on here as a friend, and I know you're a good hunter. That just adds to it, because people aren't aware of a lot of that type of thing.
I don't really
too.
advertise much that that's what I do, unless you follow my business
Page.
accounts.
Yeah.
I just try not to be all business all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're pretty full anyway, so.
Do all right.
Right.
Ran out of clients, so I mean, not clients, out of
inventory. Yeah,
so.
that's an issue, man. That's an issue.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you get it figured out.
Yeah, we're getting her.
Well, hopefully, maybe someday we can do a hunt, put a hunt together.
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Just go vet an outfitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. We need to do it, And a lot of times we go and we just get it. We like the outfitters to not lose money.
Yeah.
Most consultants, or not most, I shouldn't say that. That's judgy. But a lot of consultants, there's a lot of them out there doing what we're doing. And a lot of them are just kind of in it for the free hunts.
Oh,
because
really?
it's easy to get a free hunt when you do what we do.
Oh.
Because it makes sense, that we've got to, we have to experience it, and we have to. So that makes sense. So the outfitter has to make an investment in us, but we really try to make sure that he doesn't.
You want him to get his money's worth.
Want him to break even on that vetted hunt.
Yeah.
So we do that by bringing clients at a discount usually, and tell it, what do we have to charge them that's a discount for them, because you're not vetted yet. We're taking a risk.
True.
What do we charge them so that you don't lose money on this trip? Mm-hmm. And they usually really appreciate that. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's a good thing for the outfitters too.
Yeah. Free trip is tough.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, that's a tough deal.
Make a living.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. We hope to have you again on the show. If you
Awesome.
come back sometime.
Sounds good. Maybe I'll
Thanks,
get
Cory.
back and shoot another donkey or something. We'll talk about that.
Finish off the slam.
Right. Once I finish the barnyard slam.
You got goals, man.
Right,
You got goals. All right. Well, thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay,
thank
appreciate it. Thanks, and like and subscribe. Appreciate it very much. All the support. Talk soon.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See you.